One gunman fired 3 shots to end an argument. Millions answered instead. I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. Audiobook summary and review by StoryShots. The Taliban assumed a bullet would end an argument. Instead, it started one heard by millions. That is the thesis of I Am Malala, the story of the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban, by Malala Yousafzai, the memoir of a Pakistani teenager who turned an assassination attempt into a case for the right to learn. Education is not a given, it is a battlefield. Growing up in Pakistan's Swat Valley, one girl watched her father build schools from nothing, while local mullahs insisted girls belonged at home. Most people in comfortable countries treat classrooms as background noise, something you endure, not something you would die for. That family fought court battles, financial ruin, and death threats just to keep a building open where girls could sit at desks. Books got tucked under clothing to hide them from Taliban patrols during searches. Think about the last class you skipped without a second thought. Education is not a favor handed down. It is a right people bleed for. Meanwhile, in Swat, the Taliban were not just banning schools, they were rewriting reality itself. And that shift happened faster than anyone expected. Fear spreads through radio before it spreads through rifles. A cleric named Fazlullah did not seize Swat with soldiers first, he seized it with a radio show. Broadcasts that began with harmless religious advice slowly turned into warnings that earthquakes and floods were punishment for women leaving their homes. Villagers who trusted almost nothing else trusted that voice on the radio, and by 2008, girls were banned from school entirely, not through law, but through fear engineered one broadcast at a time. You already know what it feels like when a convincing voice on a screen reshapes what your neighbors believe is fact. Give someone a microphone and enough fear, and you do not need an army. But one teenage girl had access to a microphone too, and what she chose to broadcast is the part of this story that made her a target. A bullet was supposed to end the argument. It amplified it. At 15, riding home from an exam, a schoolgirl was shot at point-blank range while 2 classmates sat beside her. The bullet entered near her eye and traveled down her neck. Doctors in Pakistan could not stabilize her. She was airlifted to Birmingham, England, and woke up in a country she had never chosen, permanently displaced from the valley she loved. One person tried to silence her. Millions started speaking instead. That reversal is the engine of the entire story, and it raises a harder question than whether she survived. It asks what she actually did with the second life she was given, and why that answer terrifies extremists more than any weapon ever could. If this story changed how you think about the classrooms in your own life, someone you know would probably value hearing it too. Final summary. This summary of I Am Malala threads together the cost of education, the mechanics of manufactured fear, and the backfire of a bullet meant to erase a 15-year-old girl's voice into one argument. Silence a person, and you might just build them an audience. What this summary has not covered yet: how her father raised her without, in his own words, clipping her wings. What actually happened inside the Birmingham hospital rooms during recovery, and how a girl once mocked for fussing over her height became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate in history. Parents, educators, and anyone who has ever taken a classroom for granted should hear the rest. For the full I Am Malala summary, complete with an infographic and animated video, head to the StoryShots app.